The obsession with feeling good all the time has not made you happier. It has merely made you weak. Have you ever felt a strange, cold emptiness right after getting exactly what you wanted? That specific moment when the adrenaline fades, the comfort settles in, and yet you feel that something fundamental is missing from your existence. You blame yourself. You think you need more money, more leisure, more dopamine. You have been conditioned to believe that the good life is a straight, uninterrupted line of positive feelings. But what if the relentless pursuit of feeling good is exactly what is making you sick? Happiness is not the opposite of depression. Often, it is merely a shiny disguise for the void. The true substance of life is not found in a smile, but in the weight you choose to carry. Let us dissect the mechanism of this modern obsession. Psychologically speaking, the pursuit of happiness is often a narcissistic mirror. It does not react to the world, it demands that the world serve it. Research in positive psychology draws a brutal distinction between a happy life and a meaningful life. Happiness is associated with being a taker. It is biological. It asks, what can the world give me right now? It is the satisfaction of urges, hunger, thirst, lust, and the avoidance of discomfort. When your needs are met, you feel happy. It is a transaction where you consume resources. Meaning, however, is the domain of the giver. It asks a terrifyingly different question. What does life demand of me? Notice the shift. Happiness is about getting what you want. Meaning is about doing things for others. This is why the pursuit of happiness often leads to a hollow existence. You become a bottomless pit. The more you receive, the more you need to sustain that same level of satisfaction. It is an addiction to the self. The taker feels good when things are easy. The giver often feels stress, fatigue, and anxiety, yet they possess a solidity that the taker will never know. If you feel empty, it is not because you lack pleasure. It is because you are focused entirely on receiving, and the world's inventory has run dry. Meaning is the only thing that does not depend on external stock. It depends on your internal contribution. There is a hidden chronological pattern here, a trap of time that catches the unaware. Happiness is a slave to the now. It is fleeting, transient, and incredibly fragile. It lives in the spike of dopamine and dies the second boredom arrives. It exists only in the present moment. If you are focused solely on being happy, you are forced to live in an eternal, disconnected present, severing your ties to your history and your potential. Meaning, on the other hand, is temporal. It stitches together the suffering of the past, the action of the present, and the legacy of the future. Consider this. People who focus on happiness tend to flee from their pasts. They repress difficult memories because remembering hurts and hurting violates their prime directive of feeling good. They avoid thinking too much about the future because the future holds uncertainty and death. But the individual who seeks meaning integrates all three. They look at their past trauma and say, "This happened and it shaped who I am." They look at the future and say, "I will build something that outlasts me." This integration comes at a cost. People with a high sense of meaning report higher levels of stress and worry. They carry the weight of time. Happiness erases history to avoid pain. Meaning carries the past like a scar of war, proving you survived. If you want a life that feels light, chase the moment. If you want a life that matters, you must be willing to carry the weight of time. This brings us to the most critical distinction, the one that defines the philosophy of Viktor Frankl. The modern world tells you that if it hurts, it is bad. If it is difficult, it is toxic. If it tires you, you should stop. We have demonized suffering. But here lies the paradox. Suffering destroys happiness, but it is the raw material for meaning. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and survivor of the Nazi concentration camps, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that humans are not driven by a will to pleasure, but by a will to meaning. In the camps, he observed that those who tried to preserve their happiness, those who focused on their lost comforts, crumbled first. Those who found a purpose, a reason to survive, a manuscript to rewrite, a loved one to return to, endured the unendurable. Frankl famously quoted Nietzsche, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." If your goal is happiness, pain is a failure. Every moment of stress, every tear, every sacrifice is a sign that you are losing the game. This makes you fragile. But if your goal is meaning, pain is transformed. Frankl argued that despair is suffering without meaning. By that logic, once you find meaning in your adversity, it ceases to be mere suffering. It becomes a task. It becomes a challenge. This is why raising children, writing a book, or fighting for a cause is stressful. These things reduce your moment-to-moment happiness. They exhaust you, they break you down. But they are the only things that prevent your soul from atrophying. Do not try to fix the discomfort. Use it. Let's dig into the psychology behind the mask of the happy person. Why does the direct pursuit of happiness make us so weak? There are 3 psychological mechanisms at play here that erode your character. First, hedonic adaptation. The human brain is wired to get used to things. You buy the car, you get the promotion, you find the partner, you feel a spike of joy. But soon, the baseline returns. To feel that high again, you need a bigger dose. Happiness is inflationary. Its value drops the more you have of it. Meaning, however, works on compound interest. It accumulates value over years. Second, defensive egocentrism. When your primary goal is to feel good, you start to view other people's problems as threats to your mood. You avoid difficult conversations. You cut off friends who are struggling because they bring bad vibes. The pursuit of happiness makes you intolerant, isolated, and superficially positive. You build a wall to keep reality out. Third, the bias of fragility. By avoiding pain, you atrophy your ability to handle it. You become what we can call psychological porcelain. You look perfect on the shelf, polished and shiny, but the slightest knock from reality shatters you into 1,000 pieces. People who chase happiness are terrified of the negative. They interpret neutral events as hostile. A delay in traffic ruins their day. A critical comment ruins their week. Because they have no anchor, they drift in a sea of emotion, capsizing with every small wave. This leads us to the structural difference between a happy life and a meaningful one. Think of it as architecture. A life built on happiness is a glass house. It is beautiful, transparent, and lets the light in. But it depends entirely on external conditions. It relies on the weather being calm. It relies on the economy being stable. It relies on people liking you. If the external world shakes, the glass house collapses. A life built on meaning is a bunker of reinforced steel. It is not necessarily pretty, it is often dark. But it relies on internal factors, your values, your responsibilities, your sense of honor. Why do people who seek meaning survive tragedies that destroy those who seek happiness? Because their stability comes from within. The contrast is painful. It is easier to chase pleasure than to admit your life lacks substance. It is easier to scroll through feeds, eat sugar, and seek validation than to sit in silence and realize you are useless to the world. To seek meaning requires you to stare into the abyss of your own insignificance and decide to build a bridge over it, rather than turning your back and pretending it doesn't exist. If you are suffering right now because you have taken on a heavy load, a sick family member, a difficult career, a demanding discipline, take heart. This stress is a symptom of growth. If your life is easy, comfortable, and happy, but you feel a gnawing anxiety in your chest, it is a sign of stagnation. You are safe, yes, but you are dying inside. The ultimate problem is not that happiness is bad. The problem is that it is a terrible goal. The irony of the human condition is that the more you chase happiness, the more it eludes you. It is like trying to catch water in your hands. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. By pursuing happiness directly, you become selfish and fragile. You flee from the necessary because it is uncomfortable. You avoid the gym, the difficult conversation, the hard work. And ironically, this avoidance guarantees that you will be miserable in the long run. You sacrifice your future self for your present self. We must inverse the equation. Happiness should never be the target. It should be the byproduct. It is the butterfly that lands on your shoulder when you are busy working in the garden of meaning. Stop asking, what do I want? Start asking, what am I good for? Who relies on me? What chaos can I bring to order? The solution is to stop trying to gain the world's approval or the brain's chemical release. Build a life aligned with your values, regardless of how it feels in the moment. The objective is not a constant smile. The objective is the deep, quiet peace of knowing that your existence justified the space you occupied, that you were solid, that you were useful, that you were real. We live in a tyranny of positivity. To rebel is to accept the weight of existence. If you are tired of chasing shadows and want to start building a structure that can withstand the storm, you know what to do. Subscribe. We do not offer comfort here. We offer the truth. And the truth does not care about your happiness. It only cares about your freedom.